I'm gonna share how you can instantly overcome your fear. Whoa, that rhymes. That rhymes. Wait. You know, I'm gonna have to get a beat. Hey, I'm gonna share how you can overcome your fear. If you want hope, just look right here. But listen, all jokes aside, man, I'm gonna be sharing how you can instantly overcome your fear. But first, let me go ahead and set the scene. Right, let me tell you about Justina. Right, Justina is in a situation where she wants to start her own business. She's excited, but at the same time, she's filled with so much anxiety. She's filled with so much fear. She's worried about posting about her business on social media because people might laugh at her. She's worried about even speaking to potential clients, to potential customers, because they might say no. They might reject her. And she's just so concerned about all of these kind of things. She's even worried about investing into learning how she can start her own business. She's worried about taking a course. She's worried about finding the right people. She's worried about applying the information. She's worried about so much things because she's overwhelmed with fear. Until one day she stumbles across a video by The Real Shay Lamar. This very video. And she learns how she can instantly overcome her fear and everything changes for her. So Justina, if you're watching this right now, and anyone else who maybe is going through a similar situation or has some other kind of fear, obviously there's loads of kind of fears that this can apply to you. This video may just be what you needed to hear because I'm going to be sharing an exact process you can follow when you experience these feelings, these emotions of fear and anxiety that can actually help you overcome them. So let me go ahead and get into them. This video shouldn't probably be too long. I'm going to be sharing 3 questions that you can ask yourself during these times. That's going to help you tremendously. First question, what is the worst that can happen? Look, a lot of the times when we're going through these situations, these feelings, we're so overwhelmed, but we don't actually take the time to think, hold up, what's actually the worst that can happen? If I post about my business on social media, what's the worst that can happen? If I speak to this potential customer, what's the worst that can happen? And when we really look at it, okay, cool. Let's break it down. You speak to someone who you think can be interested in your business, right? Maybe you're selling, you're selling makeup, right? You see, you're selling it on the street, for example. You speak to someone. What's the worst that can happen? The worst that can happen, maybe realistically, is that they don't say anything. They just keep walking. They just ignore you, right? Or maybe the worst that can happen in your head is they might say, no, I don't like you. Go away. Stop trying to sell me makeup. Stop trying to scam me. It's probably fake makeup anyway. You're probably just going to take my money and run away. Whatever it is. But the reality of it is, imagine that situation. Picture that situation happening, right? I didn't realize, okay, what would happen after that situation? I feel like a lot of the times, right, even when we picture these situations, it still scares us because we don't picture the after effects, right? We're scared of that situation happening because we don't like the feeling of it. But then when we think of what would actually happen after, we realize that nothing would happen after. Life would go on. You will go ahead and speak to the next person. It's not that deep, Justina, right? It's not that deep. Next question. Or should I give another example? Let me go ahead and give another example first. Another example, okay, Justina posted on social media. She's scared her friends are gonna laugh at her. She's scared her people are gonna tell her business isn't gonna work, blah, 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 blah. Again, let's say that happens. Let's say her friends laugh at her. What happens after that? Nothing really, right? So long as she's obviously plugging into more The Real Shay Lamar videos and, but just in general, honestly, just plugging into more personal development and understanding how to kind of deal with feelings of doubt and all that kind of stuff, which again is topics for another day or topics for a book, whatever. Like there's loads of books about the topic. But so long as she can deal with those emotions, she's going to be able to come out on top, and it's not really going to be that deep. It's not the end of the world, right? Next question to ask. How can this help me grow? You see, sometimes you may even be in a situation where you've asked yourself this question of what's the worst that can happen? But you're still scared. And part of that reason may be because you've only seen the worst that can happen, but you haven't seen the best that can happen in your mind. And as a result, in your head, the only kind of outcome of this scenario is that worst case scenario. And you're like, right, I'd rather not. I'd rather not have people say no to me in the street. I'd rather not. If we can just step back and ask ourselves, how will this help me grow? We'll realize that, okay, a prospect saying no to our business. How is that going to help us grow? That's actually going to help me by showing me maybe what I need to not say, or showing me maybe what I did wrong, showing me how I can actually change when I speak to my next potential customer, right? When I speak to the next person on the street, or however it is that you're marketing your business, right? And again, this isn't only applicable in business, just the example that I'm using today for Justina watching this video, right? But the reality of it is that these challenges, these quote unquote rejections or whatever it is, they really just help us grow, but we have to be actively looking for the ways that it can help us grow. Because once we can identify that, we can realize, okay, you know what? I'm actually excited for this worst case scenario to happen because I recognize that it's going to help me grow in some kind of way. How is posting on social media and people saying, like laughing at me and stuff like that, how is that going to help me? Well, maybe it will force me to actually start reading about or learning about how to deal with these feelings of people not believing in me. And that's going to help me grow even more. So when we can see it like that, guess what happens? Again, we're no longer scared of that worst case scenario. But let's go one extra. Let's ask ourselves the third and final question. What's the best that can happen? Look, so many times as humans, we're so focused on the worst case scenario. We're so focused on the bad. We're so focused on the, what if this happens? What if it doesn't work? But what if it does? What if the best case scenario happens? Ask yourself, okay, what's the best case scenario of me posting my business on social media? Let's continue using that makeup example, right? You got a makeup business. Personally, I don't have a makeup business, but let's say you do. Justina, you have a makeup business, right? The best case, maybe Kylie Jenner somehow stumbles across your page and she's like, rah, okay. I'm liking what Justina's doing, you know. I'm really liking it. And she says, I'm gonna shout her out. So she shouts out your business now. And maybe she even reaches out, she says, yo, listen, I wanna invest in your business. I wanna work with you. I wanna partner up. Obviously, if you don't like Kylie Jenner, that might be a worst case scenario, but it's obviously gonna build massive exposure for your makeup business. So when we can think of these best case scenarios, we realize, when I kind of weigh it up, it kind of makes sense for me to just go for it. Worst case, people laugh. Best case, probably become a multi-millionaire or something like that. Get to talk to Kylie Jenner if you're a fan. Do you get what I'm saying? Like all this kind of stuff. Get the exposure. Let's speak about that potential client that you're speaking to. Worst case scenario, cool, they say no. Best case scenario, they say yes. It's like, sometimes we just don't think about things logically because we're so focused on emotional thinking. But when we can think like this, listen, you can instantly overcome that fear. And obviously, I'm not speaking about if you're about to, you want to fly, right? You watch The Matrix. I just watched The Matrix yesterday. Let me not talk about that. Personally, wasn't too much of a fan of it, right? Wasn't too much of a fan of it. I don't know, if you see it, let me know what you're thinking. But let's say you watch The Matrix and you're like, you know what? Let me try that scene where they try to fly off the building. Those spoilers. But they're trying to fly off the building. So you're thinking, worst case scenario is I drop and I die. I guess best case scenario is I fly. No, that's not what I'm saying, all right? That's not what I'm saying. I guess in that kind of case, maybe the worst case scenario outweighs the best case scenario. So that's something that you got to decide for yourself, right? But ultimately, I'm speaking about situations like, again, being scared to promote your business or being scared to lift the weight at the gym. Obviously, if you're lifting a weight that's too heavy and you're going to get injury, cool, don't do that. But if you're lifting a weight and it's like, okay, worst case scenario is I might not be able to lift it. Maybe you're trying to go for a new personal best. I might not be able to lift it. The best case scenario is I lift it. So long as your form is on point, right? What other examples? There's so many examples. Again, this video is quite, it's not, I wouldn't call it long, but it's on the longer side already, so I'm not going to go into too many examples. But hopefully you can apply these concepts, these questions into whatever example you need to apply them to, and hopefully this really makes sense for you. That's the 3 questions you could ask. Again, number 1, what's the worst that can happen? Number 2, how can this help me grow? Number 3, what is the best that can happen? Ask yourself these questions. Now, I'm confident that it will help you instantly overcome most of the fears that you have in your life that are holding you back. With that being said, it's been me, The Real Shay. the real Shay Lamar, whatever you want to call me. It's all good. I'm gonna catch y'all soon. Make sure, please, if you found value in this video, go ahead and drop a comment. Let me know your thoughts. If you disagree, if you agree, let me know, right? If you found value in this video, definitely go ahead and drop that like. You feel me? Go ahead and drop that like. And other than that, have a good day. Feel me? Peace out.